She almost never washed her body. But that was the least weird thing about her. Queen Elizabeth I ruled England for 45 years. She became one of the most powerful women in history, and almost everything about her daily routine was completely insane. Let's start with the sugar. When Elizabeth was queen, sugar had just arrived in England from the colonies. It was so expensive that only the ultra-wealthy could afford it. It was treated like gold, like pearls, like the most precious luxury on earth. Elizabeth was obsessed with it. She ate sugar constantly, candied violets, sugar-dusted everything. But here's where it gets strange. She also brushed her teeth with it. Every morning, a paste made entirely of sugar rubbed directly onto her teeth. By the time she was in her 60s, most of her teeth had rotted, fallen out, or turned completely black. A German traveler who visited her described her teeth as, and I'm quoting directly, very black. He blamed it on the English's excessive use of sugar. But here's the twist that nobody talks about. Poor people actually started blackening their own teeth on purpose, with soot and charcoal. Because black teeth meant you were rich enough to afford sugar. It became a fashion trend, as a status symbol. Now let's talk about her face. In 1562, Elizabeth got smallpox. She almost died. When she survived, her face was covered in deep scars and pockmarks, so she covered them. Every single day, she applied a thick white paste to her entire face. It was called Venetian ceruse. It was made of white lead and vinegar. She left it on for a week at a time, just adding fresh layers on top of the old ones. To remove it, she used a mixture of eggshells, alum, and more mercury. She was coating herself in poison every single day and had no idea. Mercury poisoning causes memory loss, depression, paranoia. By the end of her life, Elizabeth had all three. She loved fashion and makeup, and also had over 2,000 dresses, each one more elaborate than the last, covered in jewels, gold thread, and embroidery that took months to make. She had a team of ladies whose only job was to dress her every morning. It took hours. Now the hair. Elizabeth started losing her hair in her 60s, almost certainly from the mercury. She wore elaborate red wigs to hide it. Nobody was allowed to mention it. Nobody was allowed to see her without one. One morning, the Earl of Essex accidentally walked in on her without her wig or makeup. He never spoke about what he saw. And then her final months. She stopped bathing completely. She refused to be attended to. She sat alone in her room, surrounded by her ladies in waiting, not speaking, not eating, not sleeping. At the time of her death, she had a full inch of white lead makeup caked onto her face. She had lost almost all her teeth. She had lost most of her hair. She couldn't speak. The mercury had destroyed her vocal cords. To tell her advisors who should take the throne after her, she couldn't say a word. She just raised her hand slowly and drew a circle around her head, like a crown. That was how one of the most powerful rulers in history chose her successor. A circle drawn in the air, in a room that smelled of rot and lead and perfume. Her last reported words were,
"All my possessions for one moment of time."
She was 69 years old. She had ruled for 45 years.